Join. What's up, guys?
We're just about live.
What's up? Welcome to freaking Awesome Sauce Net. Nope. Welcome to Awesome Hardware. I'm a little toasty right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little toasty. It's gonna be a good show.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep plus
high
alcohol.
High percentage alcohol
equals shit show all around. Welcome to the show. This is episode 63. If you happen to miss the side A to this episode, you can go ahead and check it out on Paul's half of the show.
We're disappointed, but you can still do that.
It is very disappointing, but Paul's Hardware on YouTube if you want to check out side A of the show. This is side B, where we'll be talking about more stuff, more tech news. That's how it goes. That's what we do. But we also do have a lot of good stuff in store for you today in terms of tech news. What are you doing? You're opening up links? You're tweeting?
An ad was playing for your half of the show for going live since we just went live to YouTube, but I skipped it, which means you get like I just cost you like a few cents.
Yeah, that's horrible of you.
I know.
I don't appreciate that.
Could have made you money by watching the whole thing.
You could have clicked on that ad or something. Let's go ahead and whore ourselves out for all the things that we sell on our websites. So I've got AwesomeSauceNetwork.com/store where I'm selling shirts, all of which are back in stock. So depending on regardless of the design or size that you were interested in,
look at that right there.
You can go ahead and pick up a BIOS Flasher shirt, which has been doing really well. It's just so cute and funny.
He's naked under here. There's just a big schlong.
There's a big old balls, old pair of balls.
And the BIOS chip there is like, oh my god, you're so well hung.
So well hung. And
right? That's the idea.
Yeah, it's never been determined whether or not he's shocked or like aroused.
It's kind of a mixture. It's a little bit of both.
He's very confused.
He's like he looks more shocked because you have to put that out there first. Like you should be shocked, right?
But then the afterthought,
social acceptance and everything.
But the afterthought is like slightly aroused.
Yeah, but really beneath it all, that's you read between the lines like, hey, he's DTF right there, the BIOS chip. What?
My next shirt is just gonna say your BIOS is a slut.
Your slutty BIOS.
Slutty BIOS.
Slutty BIOS.
Also, Paul is selling stuff on his
I have stuff too.
Website, paulshardware.net. The Zero Insertion Force shirt. It's been selling like hotcakes. Go ahead and pick one of those up.
Look at that there.
Either he's got a couple different options for you in terms of color and stuff. He's
gray.
Also got new polos and
mugs, pint glasses,
hoodies, all that sort of thing.
It's all wonderful.
Do it. You will get a loud and proud Johnson shout out.
All very high quality. Hey, I will say. Granted, this is my own gear that I'm talking about here.
Your own gear?
I've now had my Paul's Hardware Imperial pint glasses here for many months. Quite a while.
That one's mine, though.
A good, yeah.
This is mine.
So you've watched this many times, right?
I have.
Look at that logo.
It's still shining. It's still going strong.
It's out of focus, but no, it's perfect. It is perfect.
Yep.
High quality stuff.
I have only had to reprint it twice. It's that good.
Draw it in painstakingly.
Yes, they are very high quality indeed. Why don't we go ahead and start talking about shit? Let's talk about the GTX 1070 because you know what, Paul?
Talk some shit.
The GTX 1080.
News? Are we moving?
Yes, we're going on to news.
News too.
The GTX 1080 is dead. This is how technology. This is how our industry works. A cutting edge, a bleeding edge piece of hardware arrives on the scene, and mere hours after its release, or hours after its embargo has released, it's completely supplanted and dead.
Who cares about the 1080
Who gives a
anymore?
shit? We've seen the benchmarks.
I'm so over it.
And like half of my comments in my 1080 review today was like, I cared more about the 1070 benchmarks anyway. Which, okay, fair enough. If you weren't impressed at all by the 1080 benchmarks that you've seen today from countless tech review sites like myself and Paul and everyone else, then maybe you're more interested in something like the GTX 1070. And VideoCards.com has confirmed that NVIDIA has confirmed that the GTX 1070 will have 1920 CUDA Cores, 8 gigs of GDDR5, which we already kind of knew, and 150 watt TDP, which we did not know.
No, we did
since
not.
The press event that NVIDIA held in Austin a few weeks back, or a week and a half ago. So 150 watt TDP, also with a single 8-pin PCIe connector.
Also, all of this is rumor and baseless speculation for anyone who's asking.
Yes, so this is just what VideoCards is claiming to be true from NVIDIA, but it's not straight from the horse's mouth, so bear that in mind. It is going to feature a cut-down GP104, Holy mother of goodness. Thank you, Vindelman.
Vilman.
For the Awesome Sauce Fund. Thank you for the donation.
Hey.
I almost wish you would ask a serious, deep question that was hard to answer to make it feel more validating.
I imagine that the Awesome Sauce Fund is like Scrooge McDuck's, like, his big vault, you know, with all the money in it, and you just go dive in it and swim around.
Except mine is just like, it's just like one slim layer of
Just
coins.
a tiny
So when you dive into it, you just like hit your head.
It's actually like a layer of pennies and then concrete.
Yeah, and you just get instantly wrecked.
Quadriplegic after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that donation,
That was
Vindelman.
Quite generous.
Vindelman. Okay, so same display I/O. So you've got 3 DisplayPort 1.4s, which are capable of 4K at 120 hertz. You've got a single DVI digital, and one HDMI 2.0B, which does 60 hertz at 4K.
Okay.
You've also got a boost clock on the GTX 1080 of 1.6 gigahertz. So
1070?
On the 1070, sorry, thank you, which isn't quite as fast as the 1080, but still way faster than what we've seen with Maxwell in previous generations and stuff. 7.2 billion transistors, which is the same as the 1080, which makes sense because they're both based on the 16 nanometer process node. And we've also got 256-bit memory bus with 120 TMUs and 64 ROPs, 6.75 teraflops, single precision floating point performance, and it will support two-way SLI with the SLI high bandwidth bridge, which, again, speculation, like Paul said, this is rumored, hasn't been 100% confirmed by NVIDIA, it's just been confirmed by videocards.com that NVIDIA confirmed this.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. It's like, you know, word of mouth.
I don't know, though. I don't trust them.
Who knows? But I'm curious to know.
There was nobody from videocards.com at the NVIDIA event last weekend.
Right, so how credible could they be? They're all a bunch of...
Or perhaps they just piss off NVIDIA all the time by leaking.
By leaking, like, false information.
That could be the other possibility.
Yes, so...
I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works.
Take all this information with a grain of salt. However, based on what you guys have already seen from the GTX 1080 in terms of benchmarks and performance, obviously you guys have probably seen a lot of content and coverage from that today. What are your expectations or hopes for the GTX 1070? Because... Do they need to see my hands?
It was blocking you.
It's blocking my face?
It was you. They couldn't see your gesticulation.
You know, people can only understand me with my hand gestures.
Your gesticles weren't
my gesticles.
People weren't showing them.
Maybe I should hold them further away from my chesticles.
It's because I don't have to worry about talking about anything anymore.
I know.
So I'm just paying.
This is your contribution for
look at the
next hour.
Look at the mise en scène right now. It must be adjusted.
I hate you.
It's a terrible word. That's it's like the one word I remember from film school.
Thank God I went to college.
But have you considered the mise en scène?
And instantly, you just sound smarter than anyone else in the room.
Or like a massive douchebag, or perhaps both.
Did he just say mise en scène?
Why is there no donate button for Twitch? We're not partnered with Twitch currently.
Correct. But we should be.
Yeah, we should be. You're right.
Damn it. Thank you, Pup Shepherd, for the donation, and you are thanking me. That's funny that you give me a donation and then you say thank you. But no, thank you, sir.
We should thank you.
Yes, you are the one to be thanked. Okay, so GTX 1070 looks pretty promising. Honestly, I'm curious to know what your guys' expectations are for this card in terms of performance, because very much like how NVIDIA was claiming the GTX 1080 to outperform two 980s in SLI, they're also claiming that the GTX 1070 will outperform a Titan X. So based on the results and the benchmarks that you guys have seen today on the 1080, I don't know, does that kind of like discredit NVIDIA's statement a bit? Their claim to like outperforming a Titan X?
Several of their like, it's faster than two 980s in SLI. A lot of that stuff they said, and they were being honest. But you really had to read the fine print. If they're referring to VR or not was a significance. Like their claims for VR performance enhancements were something like well over 2.1, 2.3%.
But I saw that during the press event and stuff when they live stream it. Like that definitely says gaming VR performance on the y-axis there. Yes. I was like, oh, gotcha. But then like it would be like 20 minutes later into the presentation when they'd be talking about something unrelated, and they would have a slide that just said, GTX 1080 greater than GTX 980 SLI, and it would just be one giant slide, and they would have nothing.
But then you
about
got
VR.
You got to look at the axes.
No, there was no chart. It was just like a graph like that, and it just said, you know, faster than 980 SLIs, and it had nothing to do with SLI. On that particular slide, there was no mention. Do you remember that? It was just like a giant slide. It was like a clickbait slide where it just said faster than 980 SLIs, and there was no mention. There was no chart to begin with.
That's a lie then.
And
it's a filthy lie.
But I mean, I think I have that in my review, and a lot of people were probably confused by this. However, in the testing that I did for my review of the 1080, it does outperform the 980s in certain situations. More likely at HD than other, you know, higher resolutions. I found that in Metro Last Light, at least, I was seeing probably about 15 to 18% of a performance boost over the 980's SLI.
Metro Last Light has like 0 SLI scaling.
No,
it's really bad.
Metro Last Light has really good SLI scaling.
Okay, never mind what I just said.
In the testing that I did, it scaled so well over...
I'm going to double check my benchmarks.
Over all the resolutions, not just at 1080, but Quad HD and 4K. Better than Crysis 3. Crysis 3 is what you might be thinking about, because that had horrible SLI scaling.
GTA 5 didn't scale very well for me.
That might be it.
Yeah.
But granted, when a company like NVIDIA comes to the consumer, the potential buyer, and says, hey, look, this is going to outperform two-way GTX 980s, the customer is expecting that to be an absolute truth, where no matter what game you test, or at least 9 out of 10 times, that's going to be the case. And that wasn't the case in my testing, at least, because the GTX 1080 was only outperforming dual 980s maybe 20% of the time, maybe 15% of the time. And that depends largely on which resolution you're testing at. So, I don't know.
Also depends if you're testing like shitty 980s that aren't water-cooled and overclocked.
You know what?
Maybe
you and Arctic Panther
maybe your 980s just weren't good enough.
Can go suck each other off for all I care.
Hey, that's part of why it's water-cooled.
Where do you think the liquid cooling comes from?
Yeah, that's... Exactly.
So yeah, I rambled on long about that, but GTX 1070, obviously very exciting. Not sure if it's going to really outperform. I think it's going to outperform a Titan X in certain scenarios, and I think that's what NVIDIA is counting on, and that's why they're saying, hey, look, it tested, you know, greater performance than the Titan X in like 1 of 10 tests. Why don't we just advertise that? Why don't we just say it outperforms the Titan X? Because technically we're not wrong. It did outperform that card in this one test. However, consistently across the board, that's not what most users are going to find. And I think that's just the whole... That's the marketing business that we all have to deal with. From companies, whether it's NVIDIA or AMD or Intel, they're all kind of the same in that way. They all like putting the highest number, the highest common denominator on there.
Yeah.
So, be warned.
Dr. B1900, thank you for the donation, and he asks, will GPU Boost 3.0 or Ansel be available for the 980 and 980 Ti?
Ansel will.
Ansel, yeah, that should be, as far as we know. GPU Boost 3.0...
I don't think so, because it's a hardware thing.
I'm not positive.
I'm pretty sure GPU Boost 3.0 is a hardware-laced
If I had to guess,
thing.
I would agree with Kyle and say probably not.
Yeah.
But...
Ansel for sure, though,
But maybe. I mean, because I feel like something like that, if they can establish in the software the voltage frequency targets, then maybe that's something that they could
provide
go back to older generations or something.
Yeah.
But we're not sure. So sorry, we don't have a direct answer for that.
Yeah.
There are some things that are definitely only exclusive to Pascal because they're hardware based. GPU Boost 3.0 we're not positive about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next story is about CPUs for once.
Hey,
Let's
CPUs.
Switch gears here from the GPUs and move on to the processors. 6950X has some more leaked benchmarks for y'all. This is from WCCF Tech. Thank you guys. And it revolves around the 6950X, the new 10-core, 20-thread CPU from Intel. The first of which, the first high-end chip really to be based on the 14nm process node. Very exciting stuff with a base clock of 3 GHz and a boost of 3.5. The retail price of this thing is a steep $1,569.
Sweet Jesus.
This is the most expensive CPU.
That's box pricing.
Apart from like a Xeon or something like that. Box pricing, $1,500. Now, if $1,000 is more your price point, and that's more your speed, you could opt for the 6900K, which has 8 cores and 16 threads. I'm sure that's going to probably outperform like a 5960X by a smaller margin. However, if you want that additional core and thread awesomeness, you're going to have to fork out $500 additional for the 6950X.
That's quite a premium for 2 extra cores.
So insane. And for 4 extra threads.
Yeah.
Unless you're really like a workstation workforce, and you're doing just constant video editing and constant editing.
It's like server chip pricing. I mean, they have server chips that are $3,000 and above because they have so many threads and everything. But
yeah, if you have multi-threaded applications that you're working with day in and day out, then it's probably worth it. Because over time, that's going to save you a lot of, rendering time, rendering speed, and whatnot. But the other thing that they brought up in this article is that, as of now,
at $1,000, let's assume that. All right, I just did math here. I did math. I want to share.
You mathed. Right. How dare you math without
me?
At
$1,000, 8-core processor, whether you're talking about a 5960X or the purported 6900K from the Broadwell E-Stack, at $1,000 for 8 cores, 16 threads, that's $125 per core, or half of that per thread. So if you took that and multiplied it by 10, that's $1,250.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think the premium, if it really is $1,500, almost $1,600 for a 6950X, that's a significant premium.
Yeah.
That is that's the type of thing where you're like, well, some people will buy it. They can charge that. They can charge that because some people will buy it. But I wish $1,300 would have been a little bit more reasonable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
To like almost go halfway to like $2,000 is pretty crazy. And it goes back to like the whole diminishing law of returns, right?
Real quick.
The more money you spend.
Devilish Booster, thank you for the donation.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Sorry we missed your first one. Sorry.
What did he say?
He said he already did one, but we missed it. So thank you for that. Anyway,
well, so nice. We thanked you twice.
Yes, we did. Only once, but twice within that. Never mind.
We were very efficient.
Yes.
So all right, there are some pretty nice performance benchmarks here though for the 6950X. First of which was in Cinebench R11.5, where the 6950X scored 19.7 points compared to the 5960X, which scored 13.9 points. That's a pretty favorable lead, I would say, that the 10-core chip has over Haswell E. And also in Cinebench 15, the 6950X scored 1852 over the 5960X, which got 1286. So going from 1800 to 1200, pretty much. I mean, that's a pretty steep jump, I would say. However, these are just benchmarks, and whether or not that's going to be worth like the price to performance for what you would spend on a $1,500 CPU is going to be largely dependent on the workload that you personally have. Man, I mean, I'm pretty happy with my 5960X in Hotline. I can't imagine myself spending $1,500 on a CPU that would get maybe 20-30% more performance. And this is just in a synthetic benchmark, right? This isn't even really real world performance.
Yeah.
I would like to see some render times in Premiere Pro and how those differ from an 8-core to a 10-core chip. That would be really interesting for me, and that could like really maybe sway my decision on whether or not something like this would be worth it. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like for us, the actual encoding times for videos, I mean, that's what's most important.
Yeah. And
shaving time off of that can be very helpful, depending on what you're doing and how much work you have queued up, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, the premium for those 2 extra cores seems pretty steep at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, unless you're really dependent on multi-threaded applications, because even though you're only getting 2 cores, you are getting 4 more threads.
I just realized I have more beer.
That's always a great feeling. Like, there's beer in this bottle.
I thought it was gone, and I was like, oh wait, there's more.
I'm all gone.
Yeah.
This is all the beer I have left. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next story, which is about Twitter. This is very short. All the rest of these stories today are pretty brief. I'll keep them short. Twitter is no longer counting links and pictures towards their character limit.
Fascists.
No, what? I don't know about that.
No, that's good.
Seems extreme.
Way to go,
this
Twitter.
is good. Because as of now, Twitter links, anytime you paste a link or add a link into your Twitter post, it takes up 23 characters. And if you post an image, like let's just say you're like uploading a capture from your desktop or something, that uses up 24 characters. And granted, you only have 140 characters in your tweet available to you. So if you're posting a link and a picture in a single tweet, that's already taking up like a third, more than a third of your character availability. So what Twitter's trying to do is they're trying to make their platform a bit more content-rich, and they're trying to encourage the users on the platform to post more frequently media content, so pictures and links and things like that. They're trying to make it more, they're trying to make it flourish and all that kind of shit. But it's difficult when, you post a picture or a link in your tweet, and you really are only left with like 100 characters to either caption that or to really try to brand whatever post you're trying to make. And I know you and I deal with this pretty much on the reg.
Oh yeah.
Where like, hey, like I have this really good witty tweet, drafted up, and it's only gonna work if I attach a picture with it. But oh shit, attaching this picture means I have to like delete 3 or 4 words from this awesomely witty tweet that I would have otherwise tweeted. And then you gotta like rework things, and it's just annoying.
If I may provide a counter to this.
Counter it.
It is well known that brevity is the soul of wit. Perhaps Twitter's character limit was just encouraging people to be
smarter,
more succinct. Maybe?
Why don't you just be more succinct?
No.
No,
you're
be it.
That's okay.
It's very viable.
Yeah. No, it's very this is very interesting character development, Kyle.
Yes.
Is that all?
That was very punny of you.
Thank you.
I acknowledge that.
glad you caught that.
Heyo. So yeah, expect. But you know what? This brings up a big issue of like, is there any limit now to how many links or pictures you can post?
Yeah, can I just put like 100 pictures?
Can you just? Is it spam friendly now? Is Twitter now like? Can you just spam the shit out of it? Hopefully they've thought about that. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Holy crap, Samir Andre, thank you for the donation. He said, me and my boss and some coworkers have been neglecting work for awesome hardware, so thanks for people who are supposed to be working on airplanes. What?
That is amazing!
I feel like are people going to die?
Dude, if someone dies on behalf of our show, I will be so proud.
No, you shouldn't be proud.
I mean, no, I won't be proud. But that just shows you like how
I mean, there's like a very small part of you that's like, wow, we really meant that much to somebody. But no, I hope no one dies from lack of work on airplanes. That's important.
It's like, what a tragedy. But at the same time, look how far we've come.
It really shows the dedication of the viewing audience. So much appreciation. No, Samir, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad we could provide you with some entertainment.
But please, tend to your flock. Please make sure no one dies on your shift.
Make sure everything is machined properly into the exact specifications.
Because I could see you getting waterboarded later tonight and just be like, it was awesome hard. It was Paul and Kyle. They live at blah, 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 whatever street. And then we're just screwed, so.
Where's the waterboarding come from?
I don't know. I mean, that's probably what airlines do anytime they see, like, foul play.
The inspection did not go as planned. Waterboard that employee.
To the gallows.
It's very strict. They're very strict with the airlines.
Yeah, okay. TSA, man. Okay, well, what do we got next? We've got Disney movies VR arriving on Steam. Let's not talk much about this, but on Steam. So, not too long ago, Steam launched some Lionsgate films that you could purchase, kind of like, like a Netflix deal sort of thing. Now they've got Disney movies. It's actually an app called Disney Movies VR that you can download on Steam for free, and then you can proceed to watch up to 3 Disney movies at the moment in VR.
Which is
those movies include Star Wars,
The Force Awakens?
The Force Awakens,
what?
Captain America, and Jungle Book in VR. Son of a bitch.
So you can go and watch The Force Awakens, but at any point you can like look around the entire thing and see 360 degrees around you?
From what the article was saying, it's certain scenes. So not the entire movie from front to beginning,
all right.
but certain scenes that are VR supported.
That's still really cool.
Yeah.
Because what that reminds me of, because I'm like, I don't know, I don't geek out over a lot of different movies, but there's definitely certain ones that have a strong hold on me. So like Lord of the Rings, for example, when those came out on DVD, before Blu-ray was even much of a thing, you know, I had those extended editions.
Right.
And you get the extended editions, and you get the little chart, and it shows you, it's like, oh, this scene has more stuff. Yeah. This is a new scene, and whatever. And you look at that chart, like, ooh, like, I'm going to get more content. So I can see this. This is sort of being, you know, obviously it's not like a full movie where you can watch the whole thing in VR, but having certain scenes where you could look around, that's pretty cool. And it's an in-between step. Right.
So essentially what I'm thinking, it's like 360 video in all of your favorite, you know, Disney movies, which, you know, obviously Star Wars is a big one for us tech geeks and stuff, which is pretty cool considering that this is a free application that's only taking up about, is it 3 gigs? 3 gigs of your hard drive space. And same specs as the Rift. Honestly, I never thought that I would need a GTX 970 to watch The Force Awakens on my PC, but apparently that is required for if you did want a very smooth playback experience. I have the hiccups now.
You didn't even eat any spicy food.
No, I did not. I will be probably later tonight, though.
This is a Stone Imperial Russian Stout for the person in chat who asked.
Your call. It also says that you can choose. Yeah, it says you can choose from a selection of different movie scenes and interact with the characters and their environments. I'm not sure exactly if that's just an exaggeration. It probably is. I don't know how much you can interact with, you know, freaking.
Well, I mean, if they've created a 360-degree environment that you can sort of be in the VR.
That's probably what they mean
or whatever,
by interact.
Then maybe after you know, you could watch a scene that takes place, but then afterwards, you know, the characters leave, but then there's a droid that's still there or something. And then you can just hang out there and like poke the droid and talk to it. I mean, like that
would be cool.
That's kind of what I'm imagining. If I had to guess, that's what I'd say it is. But
I mean,
I don't know yet.
I'm just really excited for VR themed movie theaters, where instead of handing you like a pair of 3D glasses, they hand you a Vive or like a Rift. You walk into the theater and everyone is immersed in a 360-degree theatrical experience.
Why do you even need a theater then?
You probably you would only need a theater-sized space so that people wouldn't run into each other. If you wanted to like actually turn around and move around.
But why would you even need it to be a large theater-sized space when you could have like individual rooms where people could be separated off and have privacy and not worry about running into other people, but still in the VR environment be given the feeling like you're sitting in a theater with a bunch of other people?
Because it would be cheaper for the business to have no walls and just rely on the software chaperone. If you had a bunch of people in one giant room that had individual chaperones.
Do you want to go back to Party World in Taiwan?
Ooh, I like Party World.
We did Party World 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
Yeah, the karaoke. That's what I had in mind.
I can see
It's like
that.
some sort of venue like that where you go in, you know, you pay your fee, whatever, you get a private room.
Yeah.
And you go in the private room and everyone has VR headsets and you do whatever in the VR, but you know, that's what I'm saying is like, you know, people have this idea of like you go into a movie theater or something and everyone in the movie theater has VR headsets on, but you know, that could happen.
Yeah.
That could be possible.
Sure.
Maybe people will go that route, but I see being able to charge more money for anyone who's somebody looking to create some kind of venue like this.
Right.
You can charge more money for individual rooms. You can make people more comfortable, especially if it's something that they've never tried before.
Right.
If you're like, oh, well, you're not in a theater with hundreds of people. You're in a room with just you and a couple friends or something like that.
Right.
So for that reason, I could see like a coordinated experience where you have, 20 or 40 satellite rooms with a bunch of people all doing VR things, and everyone kind of, you put on the VR headset, you have a little demos or whatever, you kind of get conditioned to it or whatever, or it kind of teaches you how it works.
Yeah.
And then there's an actual movie that plays or an event that happens or something like that, and at that point everyone's participating in the same thing,
right.
even if everyone is remote and distinct in their own little rooms or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
that could work.
I think there's going to be actually lots of cool like venues for VR in the future. I mean, we already talked about VR theme parks on my half of the show a little bit, and you know, it's pretty exciting. But I think there's going to be this idea of VR as in I have a VR room in my house, like both of us have already kind of set that up. But then there's also the idea of like I'm going to go out for this VR experience because it involves things that I can't do at home or technology that I can't get at home or this new VR headset, you know, with a wider field of view and more immersion that I can't.
What do you mean
you're
going to go out?
Like I'll go out to this, you know. I mean, I can't.
Oh, like to an actual like a business like a.
Yeah, I'm going to go somewhere to like a VR theater or a VR venue of some kind.
So have some sort of
it's like
service that I can't get at home.
It's like going to like laser tag or something like that before, except it's way cooler because it's not stupid.
Right.
You know.
I liked laser tag.
But yeah, no, laser tag was kind of fun. but yeah, I there's a lot of people who have this idea that like once VR becomes popular, there's going to be a ton of people who just never leave their house.
Right.
Always have their VR stuff on and just live in the VR world. And granted, that probably will happen to some extent. But I also get excited about some of the possibilities for VR experiences that are more community-based or that, people, lots of people go and have a group experience or that kind of thing. I think that's going to be very viable as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
They've already got, like, VR LAN parties where you can actually go into, like, a room full of PCs and you can screen share, like, basically, like, I could walk in and see you and, like, our avatars could wave each other and, circle jerk or whatever. And I could, like, show you what I could pull up something on my desktop.
If you push X, that's the circle.
The X. You got to press X 3 times.
Yep.
But, I mean, I can, like, show you basically what's on my desktop, and your avatar can basically see what I'm seeing. You pretty much, like, you can screen hack in a way, if you really wanted to, in these sort of, like, virtual LAN centers, which is going to provide a whole new level of communication, I guess, between gamers, between people. It's just, that's all I have to say. I don't want to... Why does my screen keep doing that?
You're not interacting with it enough. It's getting bored.
My power options are not on point.
Okay, what's next?
Let's move on to Google and their standalone Android VR headsets. They will be announcing this potentially this weekend at the Google I/O event.
Hey.
So it's a standalone Android VR headset. Now, this is reportedly going to be less powerful than the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift, for example, which essentially means that it's going to be, I'm guessing, lowerly priced. It's going to be priced lowly.
Lowerly? Just lowerly priced.
The price is lowerly. And it's going to be more mainstream. So maybe more people will hop on to something like the Android VR than the Oculus Rift or the Vive because it's not $600 to $800. Maybe it's like $100 or $200. It's a bit more accessible for the mainstream market. However, it is going to be Android-based.
Android VR will definitely be announced next week, and from what I've heard, will be less powerful than the Vive or Rift.
Yes. So it's going to lack graphics horsepower, which means it's probably not going to be running like AAA games or maybe many games at all, but whatever else VR is capable of doing, 360 video, 360 photo. So this brings up a good point, I think, for all of us gaming enthusiasts here. Is it worth investing into a VR headset that's not for gaming purposes? Like, is the main reason you would buy a VR headset for gaming, or is it worth paying quite a bit less for a VR headset that just does everything but gaming? A low-powered solution that, whether it's, 360 video to enjoy, like, 360 content, VR content, VR porn, I'm sure, is probably, like, the number one driver, I would think, for, like, all right, if I'm not gaming, but I'm going to buy a VR headset, it's got to be for porn, right? I mean, that's got to be pretty high up there. I mean, it's insane the amount of support that VR porn is seeing with the introduction of VR, that it has to be pretty high up there on the list. But what other applications of VR, other than gaming and porn, are there? I mean...
None.
VR movies. So VR, like we were just talking about.
That's
VR Disney movies.
It's a stupid idea.
It's maybe not stupid. It's maybe not stupid. It might be very well done, depending on how the production studio does it or how it executes it. Where you could view full movies, maybe not just select certain scenes, but actually watch an entire movie from start to finish in a VR 360-degree scope environment. Where ever since the beginning opening scene, you can look around, you can walk up to a character and see their facial expressions closer. You can walk back and see it from a fly-on-the-wall perspective.
You're like a ghost that can just float through that experience and view it from any angle.
I mean,
that's pretty sweet.
Are enough people into that to warrant buying a VR headset that's just for that? Because for me, coming from like a technical, gaming perspective, like it's got a game. It's got to be able to play games and stuff. But what about the rest of people? Like, is the mainstream into that sort of thing? Is it worth?
Well, all right. So there's a really cool Wired article that I read that's about VR. It's in the most recent issue, and it talks about a lot of different stuff. But one of the things that it brings up is just the idea of monitors, screens that you might have. Because, I mean, obviously, you have a few behind you here.
Yeah.
Having monitors is relatively important. Like, I have quite a few monitors in my house. I almost never get rid of monitors because I'm like, don't get rid of that monitor, put it next to the new monitor, and now you have 2 monitors, or 3 monitors or whatever. So the idea for VR is just that, like, well, if I have an augmented reality or mixed reality VR headset on that can see through to actual reality, I can put a monitor anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay for it. It just appears there on a wall, on a screen, whatever. I have viewports. Not viewports. I've been doing too much GTX.
Too much SMP.
1080 videos. But,
SMP crunching.
But you can basically create a virtual monitor that appears wherever it might need to appear in your virtual environment. And you can move it around, and you can make it bigger, and you can scale them, and you can make multiple ones of them, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that, in the short term, especially as people transition from being used to having traditional 2D flat rectangle displays to whatever the future ends up being, whatever is most convenient, whatever is the most user-friendly for people, I feel like that transition will be a very significant reason for people to consider something like a VR headset, or in particular something like an augmented reality headset, because it allows you to just, take something that normally would have been an expensive thing that you had to buy and mount somewhere to have that to just something that you can just, okay, screen, move it over to that wall, make it huge. Let me watch a movie on it. Okay, now I'm watching a movie. Just something like that.
Yeah.
That has a lot of very, very practical and immediate use for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, if Android VR could do nothing more than, what, for example, like desktop VR, the VR desktop, or the desktop 1.0, VR desktop 1.0, I think is what it's called. I did a review on this, actually. If that's all it could do, I'm sure millions of people would jump on it, because simply the way that we interface with our desktop PC, it can be very elevated with VR, with how we open documents, how we browse the internet, how we view content. If you just you're playing back a movie, for example, or a TV show on your desktop, it can be very a drastically different and more unique experience to view it in VR than it is just on a typical monitor. So I think that there is some truth to that. It's just a matter of familiarizing people enough with it, because I think so many people are they don't even know what VR is. I could tell my mom hey, have you what are your thoughts on VR? And she would have no idea what does VR mean? What does that even stand for? Most people don't even know this exists. It's just because, all of us, you, me, and the people who are watching are on the forefront of technology news and stuff, and what's what. It's the only reason we know, what VR is, and, a lot of people, I think, are still so far out of touch with the capabilities of this technology that they're not even aware of its existence. So I think within a year or two, that it'll start making some waves, and hopefully people will adopt it more and more, so that to the point where competition increases, prices lower, and more people can enjoy a fully fledged VR experience, and hopefully not just.
I think we need something sorry to interrupt you, but we need something So the great equalizer for like casual games was the cell phone, right? There's so many more people now who play casual games,
right?
Especially the free-to-play garbage or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Than ever there was before, because there was just a bunch of people who like didn't have a smartphone before.
Yeah.
And now they have a smartphone now.
Right.
And people get bored, and casual games found a way to fill that void while being very accessible via the smartphones that people had available to them. So what I think we'll probably see is something similar to like kind of what's happened with the Rift and the Vive, and it was actually cell phone technology that made the Rift and the Vive possible by commoditizing a lot of the hardware that's used in cell phones, shrinking it down a lot, making it more affordable and more produced in volume.
Right.
I think something like that, taking that type of technology and creating a mixed reality or augmented reality headset that is more accessible to people. I mean, again, this is very similar to like, Google Glass or whatever.
Yeah.
But something that is not Google Glass, but it's like, oh, buy this thing. It's got to be like reasonably priced. It's got to be like $100.
Yeah.
And you put it on, and it talks to your smartphone via Bluetooth, uses the power of your smartphone, and suddenly walking around your house, you have an augmented reality experience, and you can do overlays on stuff like that.
Right.
And it's really it's inexpensive and it's easy to access.
Yeah.
Once you have something like that, that's when we'll see a bunch more people buying that, and actually more people using the technology, and then of course that will encourage more people to develop more software for it, and that whole thing kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And hopefully that will all translate to lower prices for all of us, because it will become more popular and more mainstream and that sort of thing. But yes, very, very true. All right, let's go ahead and just skip off to our next segment. I'm going to skip the next few stories here because they're not all that interesting. We're going to go ahead and dive into Faceoff, which is a new, a very long-running.
It's new.
It's not new. It's not new at all. It's a long-running segment that Paul and I have done where the both of us compete in a 2-player online flash game that's typically pretty shitty.
This is
usually horrible. And I would never recommend anyone play it. However, it is fun to watch. It is free.
Or that is the intent.
That is the intent anyway, and you will be entertained, nonetheless. So this is today's game is War of Metal, and whoever loses the round, two out of 3 rounds, we're gonna play up to 2 out of 3 rounds. Whoever loses this particular game is going to have to pay the consequences.
What are the consequences?
I have a very good. Actually, no, I don't have any consequence picked out.
Nothing.
If you have a good punishment idea, go ahead and blow it up in chat. We are looking for punishments. Punishment ideas. If either Paul or I should fail this round of Face-Off, what should we be penalized with?
Banana shaking?
Banana shaking has already been done.
No, it's not certified.
Unfortunately, there will never be such a great...
Face-Off.
Another good punishment is that. Guys, give us your ideas. Give us your ideas for punishments. We will gladly accept them. Most of them. Alright. Got this? So your WASD and spacebar is to shoot.
Okay.
I'm arrow keys and control to shoot.
This is War of Metal?
War of Metal.
We should show people.
War of Metal.
War of Metal.
War of Metal.
War of Metal.
Brought to you by Ansel. Brought to you by Ansel. NVIDIA's latest in-game free roaming camera.
Yeah, take pictures of your video game.
Yeah. I was on the Matterhorn later. I was on the Matterhorn at Disneyland.
I hope there's no Nordic people watching the show right now.
My Nordic demographic just dropped off like flies.
They hate us now. All right, so I should hit start game.
Start game. There's probably a 2-player. So click 2 players, I think.
All right.
And then that should deathmatch, I guess, because fuck cooperative. And then just choose one since it's the only one available.
All right.
We don't really have a choice. So WASD to move, and then you have spacebar to start the match as well as shoot.
Am I green or red?
I believe you're red since you're on the left, but I could be wrong. So it's gonna be best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Right?
Space.
Oh shit!
You.
Oh, I'm red. I'm red.
It did not start me in a very safe spot. Oh, stuff
Well, I was in the.
bounces.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How are you?
Oh,
Whoa, whoa.
we just added a bookmark. Done.
Well,
Oh
at least.
shit! Wait.
Oh my god!
Stop pushing shit.
I'm just doing control and arrow keys.
Control and arrow keys, which evidently.
That's really bookmark?
I don't know.
Oh no!
Save as. It's the control. It's control.
Oh my god.
It's control ASDW.
What if I?
you just closed it. It's gone. You closed the window. having control be one of the buttons for that game, not the best option.
For live streaming.
Not the best.
What is that? That's like an auto bookmark function?
Yes.
What the fuck? What, control
Right.
up key? Control up arrow is
but
add
you're
bookmark?
hitting control.
And
I'm
you're
hitting
hitting- so it's between the two
ASDW
of
in
us.
space. So there's lots of things that could go wrong there. That
Okay.
that was
well,
super.
well,
Alright,
shit.
Let's try options.
is there
We
key
can-
bindings?
We can do nothing. No, you can't. You can't change the key binding. Should we just? It's not gonna work, but
No.
we can try it again.
Yeah, we'll try it one more time.
We're gonna do it again, just
Try one more time.
for shigs. Alright,
Alright, you gotta like chase me.
I'll try.
I won't shoot.
Alright.
You just have to like kill me within a minute.
Look at this terrible starting position. You are literally facing my ass.
And you are facing me.
That is terrible. Alright.
Wait, hold on. Don't start yet.
What? What are you doing?
Online stopwatch. Go. You have a minute to kill me. I cannot shoot back. Oh shit. I will not shoot because doing so will result in bookmarks being added. But you have literally 60 seconds to destroy me. Maybe I'll give you a minute and a half.
Chasing you.
Ah! No. No. Ah! Get off my ass! Get off my ass!
God.
Oh, shit. Whoa, there's some lag right there.
What are
We
we
got
playing?
some-
Is this an SLI
Oh,
setup
nelly.
or something? I'm surprised I haven't hit myself at all so far.
There's a chance of that. Alright, you've got 60 seconds. You got 30 more seconds to kill me. Oh, no! No! Alright, hold on. Alright, we got one more.
Alright, we can do one more where
One more.
you shoot and I don't. I don't know. It's gonna be this one.
Yeah, I'll shoot.
Alright, well, it might be the same issue, but I'll try.
You think?
I'll try.
Okay.
No, it's gonna be the same
okay.
issue.
Alright, you just gotta chase me. You gotta hunt me down. So if you can get me 2 out of 3 times, then you win. But if you can't get me
Okay.
2 out of 3 times, then you suck.
Oh god.
Oh shit! I ran into that
was
one.
beautiful.
Damn it!
Just gotta keep doing that. It's on the
Oh my god! I fell for it again! Stop it!
Running into my ricochet. That's amazing.
Ah! Ah! I hate you.
It appears that the ricochet cannot hurt me because I've hit my.
Yeah, that's bullshit. There's no.
I thought that was like an additional point of strategy to the game, but apparently not. Stop moving so much.
Away. No. Stop. How do you do that? I call tank rape.
Because that's the best strategy. Is
Brutal
just
tank
to
rape.
stay right on your ass. That's what I have to do.
Stop it. No, get away.
Oh god. Haha.
Shit.
Haha.
Shit. Okay.
Yay.
What's my punishment? I don't know what my punishment is. Guys in chat, y'all in chat, let us know what the punishment should
It
be.
was epic.
That was all bullshit. Paul's a
should be-
cheater.
I cheated.
You cheated at
The
everything.
game that you chose
Yes.
again.
It's ironic. Alright. What should the punishment be?
I don't know. Chug a beer, prank call someone.
I don't have much beer left, so that won't be really...
Eat your 1080.
Eat my 1080. I could do that. Vodka shots. We have no vodka. Karaoke, slap shot, smash hotline. Yeah, I'll just destroy my...
I think you should, because the show's almost over, so this won't be much. But you should have to do the rest of the show speaking in some sort of affected special voice or something like that.
Special voice? Okay.
Like what voice can you do that would be...
Should I do the Swiss accent?
You can do the Swiss accent. That's always fun.
Okay.
That is like the Thai accent.
What do I do Vietnamese?
The Vietnamese accent, I'm sorry, that's always offensive for people.
All right. So starting now, I will do a Vietnamese accent for the rest of my half of the show.
Okay. Kyle, I'm glad you're here for this half of the show. Thanks for being here. Only got a few minutes left. It's time for Q&A. I know you're looking forward to that. One of your favorite parts of the show.
I got some about D. I mean, what I'm saying, man. I mean, it's my favorite. I don't want to ruin it. So let's start with the question.
Yeah.
Question from the audience. Let's take that question from the audience.
Everybody ask questions, and we will answer the questions to the best of our ability. We know most of the things in the world, most of the answers to everything. There are a few questions that we don't know the answer to.
You know everything.
But we know a lot. We know a lot of things. 980 Ti price drop. That seems inevitable. I don't...
Yeah.
They can't keep selling it for $650, that's for sure.
There's no way that's going to sell for the same price.
Kyle agrees. Typically with something like this, when they have a new launch, I would guess more close to the actual... for sale date, May 27th, they will release kind of their new, like, this is our product stack now. Mm-hmm. And they'll have, like, 1080. It'll probably be like, well, I don't know what they're going to do with the Titan for now, the Titan X. What is going on?
Someone in the chat is telling me to say, they want me to say, big boy. Big boy. Big boy is the number one request. Someone want me to say it. I don't know why. But I will say it. Big boy. What you do?
Big boy. I feel bad.
I apologize.
For some reason I don't want to travel in Southeast Asia now for some reason. I feel guilty. No, it's okay.
You the racist white man!
No, I'm not!
You the racist!
Not at all.
You fuck my ancestors. You fuck my whole family! You fuck your grandmother! Fuck your ancestors! You son of a bitch! Okay. We only do the Q&A for 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
We do 5 more minutes and we
5
don't.
minutes Q&A. All right.
That's all we do.
All right. I have no idea what we were just talking about. I was gonna say something. I had something I was gonna say.
Someone say, have you tried the VR porn?
No.
The porn.
No, I've not tried the VR porn.
I have tried the VR porn. Very nice.
Kyle has.
Very nice.
He says beautiful.
Resolution can be a little bit improved, but the titty is very
nice. You can look at them from all the angles.
Better juicy, yes.
All right. So, is it worth getting like a Vive or a Rift just for the VR porn?
Oh, honey.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You get rock your socks off.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Fuck yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good to know.
So immersion.
That's what's good.
It's so immersion.
It's so immersion. You won't even know. You don't even know what's real and what's not real. All right. Yeah. So we're expecting all of the graphics cards in NVIDIA's current stack to kind of be reshuffled. I would see 1080, of course, is going to be at top. I don't know what they're going to do with the Titan X. They might just ignore the Titan X for now until they refresh it with whatever the new Titan X is going to be.
And a rack.
Yeah, but definitely 1080 and then 980 Ti. And then 1080, 980 Ti, 1070, 980, and then down the line from that.
Yeah.
I feel like is what we're expecting them to line up as far as performance goes.
Yep.
So I would expect NVIDIA to announce a new set of MSRPs for all of those cards in the stack. Usually they do that, and then they move on until they release whatever comes after the 1070, whether it is a 1080 Ti or whether it is like a 1060 or something like that. That's also what we're not sure about.
1080 Ti will make me horny.
Yes, it would.
Fucking make me horny for days.
Yeah, I mean we're already on GP 104, but we know they have a GP 100, whatever the full size Pascal is, and that's probably what the Titan successor and the 980 Ti successor will be based on. But NVIDIA has been known to kind of sit on that kind of thing for a while.
Yes.
Just knowing that they have it, waiting for AMD to launch their new thing, and then for them, so they have something to answer back with, or just pacing out the launch. When they do a big launch like a 1080, usually they're going to give that some time. Sales to ramp up and all that stuff before they announce something new.
Correct.
I'm very curious whether they will go down the stack and for the next launch, or whether they'll go up the stack for the next launch.
What do you mean?
I mean, right now we have a 980 and right now we have a 1080 and a 1070. What they're going to launch next? Will they be doing something in the Titan class?
Oh yeah.
With the GP 100 GPU. A Titan class, probably they do Titan class first, then like a 1080 Ti class.
Yep.
But they also have the bottom of the stack to fill out with Pascal-based GPUs, so
correct.
We might see something like a 1060, a 1060 Ti, a 1050 even. We just don't know. Anyway.
So many speculation.
There's lots of speculations.
So many.
That's for sure. What's the point of the Titan? Dr. Bob 2000 asks. That's a very good question, and the Titan is definitely a class of card that not a lot of people buy. I will tell you this, though, that the Titan is one of those cards that sits in a weird position between a gaming graphics card and, like, a workstation graphics card. So,
it's like a hybrid.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I will say that back when the original Titan launched, there were a lot of sales going on to, like, universities, that kind of thing. People were actually using the cards, not necessarily for the gaming performance, but for their GPU compute performance.
Floating point precision.
Yes, single floating point precision, double floating point precision. That's very useful in a lot of situations, especially when you're talking about software that most of us don't use. It's software that they use at universities and that kind of thing to do, crazy simulations and.
But it's some overpriced bullshit.
It's still very overpriced, but
it's some overpriced.
But when you look at really expensive workstation GPUs, $1,000 isn't that much.
Now fuck that bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Fuck that bullshit.
Fuck yeah.
I want the 980 Ti. I want the 1080.
1080 Ti.
And fuck your ancestor. Fuck your grandmother.
Fuck your grandmother.
Fuck your whole family. I don't like it. I don't like it. I kick your ass. We meet outside in 10 minutes. You be there, you be square. Fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you.
We should do every show like this. I'll just be like, and then there's, of course, this graphics card and stuff, and bitch, you're fucking. Okay.
Sorry. I apologize.
We're trying to hit a balance between like useful information and just random nonsense, and hopefully humor.
That's what makes this show good.
Are we good?
I think we're good. Yes, I'm done
That's
talking
probably
like
enough.
an infidel.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes.
Oh, we should let's end with
Johnson
some
time.
We are overdue for Johnsons.
It's good to talk like an American. Okay.
We did establish that.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Hunter. I don't know if there's a double Johnson there. We'll just go down the list. Hunter, thank you. We've got Philip Johnson, Rhett Johnson,
Hunter double Johnson
for you,
Johnson
Hunter. Jeffrey Johnson.
Philip
double Johnson.
Double
Johnson for Philip.
We
got Samir Johnson for your brother. We also have Richard or Ricard.
Richard. I had a Randall.
Not quite a Randall, but Richard Johnson to your brother, and Satu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Satu. Satu. Yeah. And Cynthia. Thank Johnson, Cynthia.
And Cynthia.
And Cynthia. Much easier to pronounce. Thank you, Cynthia. All right, that's it. That's all for me.
Kyle has many Johnsons.
Johnson!
I also have... Stop moving the table. All right. Stop it. First Johnson goes to Go.
Go.
What up, Go? Thank you so much. Johnson to you. He picked up a thumbscrew shirt.
I just get up and go.
He gets up and he goes. Next Johnson goes to Hunter. We gave Hunter a double Johnson, right? Hunter got a double Johnson. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Next Johnson to Philip. Thank you very much.
That was a double
Phillip.
Johnson as well.
Double Johnson for you. He got a thumbscrew shirt. That's the same thing. That's a low stock. And Randall Johnson to you. Also, Randall got some pint glasses. You'll be very happy with the pint glasses, Randall. I'm confident. Rhett got a thumbscrew shirt. Thank you, Rhett. Much like the thumbscrew shirt that Kyle is wearing as he dances. He's dancing right now. Also, Edward, thank you so much. He got a white logo, standard Paul's Hardware white logo shirt. I need to get a Paul's Hardware white logo shirt. I don't even have any of those.
You didn't have any of your own shirts.
I don't have the new logo. No.
What's wrong with you?
You're right. I should have that. Finally, Jeffrey, thank you so much. He picked up
that was a double Johnson, I believe.
Jeffrey got a double Johnson.
Double Johnson.
Zero Insertion Force shirt for you. Thank you so much. And that's all for this awesome hardware.
That is all, guys. That's episode 63 for you in a nutshell. Thank you all for joining us tonight. There will be no after party tonight because I am going to be going to Virginia 2 days from now to my sister-in-law's wedding. There's a lot of shit that I have to do tonight as well. So there's not going to be an after party, but stay tuned for more tech stuff from these guys very soon. And thank you all so much for joining. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every week on Tuesdays. So stay tuned for more stuff coming really soon. We love you all. Have a good night. And be sure to like that video if you enjoyed it. We love ya. Good night.